Hi everyone and welcome to Scratchers PC. Now today what I've got for you to look at is the Corsair HX850 watt power supply. Now the whole of the HX series has had a refresh, so that goes from the 650 watt all the way up to the 1050 watt. Now the main difference between the HX series now compared to the older line is that all the units are now 80 plus gold efficient, whereas before they were all 80 plus silver. Now when the reason why they're all gold now is because when the original HX series was launched back in 2009, units were tested and obviously results came back into Corsair. People were saying, why is it only 80 plus silver when it should be 80 plus gold? Now Corsair were aware of all this and they knew the standard of some of the units, but they couldn't guarantee that every single unit that hit the shelves would live up to the 80 plus gold efficiency rating. So that's why Corsair then decided to brand every single unit as 80 plus silver. But Corsair, like I said, have refreshed the whole line, and all the units now, including the retail versions, will be 80 plus gold efficient. So as well as the 80 plus gold efficiency rating, you also get Corsair's 7-year guarantee as well. So if anything was to go wrong in that time, you do have the peace of mind that Corsair will repair or even replace the whole unit. So that's a very decent warranty to have. On the back of the box, it just goes through some of the features here, which I will talk about in a second. Also, it just shows you all the connectors which come with the power supply, because the HX850 and the whole of the HX line are semi-modular power supplies, which I'll show you those when we remove the unit out of the box. Down here we've got the output wattages, so you can see that it's a single 12 volt rail. On the 3.3 you get 25 amps. The 5 volt you get 25 amps as well, giving you a total of 150 watts combined wattage. And then on the single 12 volt rail you get 70 amps, so you get a combined wattage of 840 watts, which is very good indeed. So especially if you're using high-end, if you're using a high-end gaming PC and you want to have multiple graphics cards, then that amount of amps on the single 12 volt rail is very good to have. Moving on to the efficiency table, so you can see here obviously it's now 80 plus gold, and you can see it peaks at 50% load. Now when a power supply unit is at 50% load, that's when it's its most efficient. And you can see that it's over 90% efficiency rating when it's at 50% load. So that again, you know, that just shows that's why it's worth the 80 plus gold branding. Moving on to the noise level, the HX series now implements the same feature as on the AX series, and obviously which is now on the version 2 of the GS series as well, and that is the fan doesn't actually start spinning until the unit is actually using 20% of its load. So obviously that is excellent if you're just doing general surfing, just light work. The fan doesn't spin, so obviously it makes things quieter within your system, and obviously more efficient. And I've been using the GS800 for a few weeks now since we did the overview and I showed you guys. And obviously the fan, it's only when you've been using it for hours and hours, if you're doing gaming, that the actual fan starts to spin. For even general video editing and photo editing in Photoshop and things like that, the fan doesn't spin unless you're using it for a long time. So very good to have that feature on the HX series now. So let's now have a look at the contents of the box, and we'll start with the user guide. Now this user guide is for the 750 watt and 850 watt version. Now it does come in different variants, so you've got 650 watt and then you've got also a 1050 watt, which is the top end. You get the warranty guide, the power cord, and then you get a bag of accessories which includes tie wraps, case screws, and obviously the case badge, which is powered by Corsair. So that's in there included if you want to stick that on the front of your case. Now the HX series of power supplies are all semi-modular power supplies, so you get this nice little pouch which includes all the modular cables, and then the power supply itself just weighs something. does come in its own bag as well. You've got this nice velour bag which has the Corsair logo on the front there, and like I said, it's semi-modular, so you do get some of the cables already pre-connected to the unit. So on there you've got the 24 pin power connector, the 4+4 pin CPU connector as well, and you get two 6+2 PCI Express connectors as well. But we'll have a look at the unit in a second. We'll go through the modular cables first. So we'll get these out of the bag so you can have a look, then go through how many you get and things like that. So they have all the PCI Express connectors. You've got the SATA data cables, SATA connectors as well. And then you've got some 4-pin Molex, and then you've got two floppy connectors. So just move that bag out of the way, place that over there. So we'll start with the PCI Express connectors. Like I said, you get 5 in total, so they're all 6+2 pin PCI Express connectors. So in total you do get 7, because you get 2 on the unit itself, but 5 of them are modular. You've got 3 SATA cables, and on each cable you've got 4 SATA connectors, and then again you've got 3 4-pin Molex connectors, and it's the same. You get 4 4-pin connectors on each of the cables, and then you've got the 2 floppy cables as well. Now all the cables are all a decent length, which is good to see. The minimum length I think of one of the cables is 600mm, and it goes right up to 750, 850mm, so you've got plenty of length there, especially if you're using this unit in a full tower case. So you're not going to struggle if you're using, say, one of your SATA cables for your hard drives, which are at the bottom of the case, and you may want to use the same cable to reach up to the top for the optical drives. So you've got plenty of length there. Now the SATA cables and the Molex cables use this, they're the flat cables, so obviously that helps with cable management. So if you've not got much room behind the motherboard tray, it's going to make it easier to tie the cables down and get them out of the way. But the 6+2 pin PCI Express connectors don't use the flat cabling, so they're not big by any stretch of the imagination. They're not fat cables, but they are sleeved in a nice black braiding, which is very dense black. You can't see the cables inside, and obviously again it all depends on how much room you've got behind the motherboard tray, but you should be able to still tie those down out of the way and still be able to get the side panel back on there. So that's the modular cables. So we'll just move those out of the way so we can get a closer look at the power supply itself. So we'll get this out of the bag. So like I say, it's a nice velour looking bag, so this can be used for whatever afterwards. I don't know what you're going to use it for, maybe your gym kit or something like that, but it's there. So we get the bag out, the power supply out, and I can get the bag off. Also comes in a plastic bag as well. This is what it comes like out of the box. So this is what you see now is what you will get when if you was to purchase this unit. This is how it comes out of the box. So it's well protected. Just move those bags out of the way and do this tie wrap, so you can get a closer look at the cables. So if I just unravel the cables which come already connected to the unit, so like I say, you get the 20+4 pin CPU power connector. You also get the 4+4 pin CPU connector as well for the power. So obviously that's a good length, so it will reach up to around the back of the motherboard tray to where it connects at the top of the motherboard. And then you've got two 6+2 pin connectors, PCI Express connectors already connected as well. So this is really handy, because if you're using this unit with only one graphics card, which takes the 6+2 pin connectors, then you're not going to need any of the modular PCI Express connectors. So it's going to free up space within your chassis, and obviously the less cables, better airflow. So that's handy that it comes with those already connected. Now the unit itself, so if I show you the ports for the connectors, so you can see there where they all connect. So the blue ones are all for the PCI Express connectors, and the black one is for peripheral and SATA connectors, so your 4-pin Molex and SATA cables. Around the back of the unit, you can see the ventilation, so you've got this honeycomb mesh, the power cord, and the which way you connect the power cord and the power switch. And then on the side of the unit, you've got the Corsair HX850 branding, and whichever way you have the unit, so if you have the unit with the fan facing towards the bottom, or you have the fan facing upwards, the HX850, Corsair HX850 will always read the right way up. And then taking a look at the fan itself, so it's a 140mm double bearing fan, and like I mentioned earlier, this fan doesn't actually kick in until the unit is actually up to 20% load. So obviously it's quieter, it runs cooler even when the fan's not spinning. Some people don't like the idea of the fan not spinning, but it's got a thermostat in there, so it's cooling down the components, and when needs be, when the temperature increases and the load increases, that's when the fan will start to spin and obviously cool down what it needs to do. And once it's cooled down the internal components enough, the fan will stop spinning, and then it will, like I say, only start spinning again when it's up to 20% load. So that's your close-up or overview of the HX850 power supply from Corsair. I'm just going to wrap this up with a small conclusion and give you my verdict on this particular power supply. So it's time for the conclusion and my thoughts on the Corsair HX850 power supply. Now, I don't have a ATE load tester to fully test the unit, but rest assured, if you take into consideration Corsair's quality and past power supplies, you're not going to have any issues whatsoever. Well, very much doubt it that you would have any problems with the new HX line. And even if you did, you know, if the power supply was to fail or anything like that, then you are backed up with the 7-year guarantee. Now, pricing for the HX850 is going to be probably round about the same as the existing HX line, the version 1. So at the moment the 850 does retail for about £120, so you're going to be looking round about the same price, maybe 130, you know, not much more than that, because obviously a few weeks ago I took a look at the version 2 of the GS series, and at the time they weren't on the market, but I've looked, now they are, and I've looked at the pricing and they're around about the same price. Some sites are selling them about £10 more than the older version, so you can expect the same kind of pricing strategy for the HX line, and that obviously that will go for all the range from 650 watt all the way up to 1050 watt. And like I said, the 850 watt does come in around about £120, so it's not badly priced for a high quality power supply, semi-modular, and obviously Corsair's reputation, you are getting good quality, and obviously now it's 80 plus gold efficient. So as always, please leave your comments on this video. Tell me what you think of the HX850. Do you already own one from earlier, the previous version? I will be posting a link of this video on Facebook, so you can either leave a comment there, and obviously other people get involved, or you can just leave a comment below on YouTube. And also I've taken some photos of the unit itself, so if you want to see it closer up, there will be photos going onto the website and also onto the Facebook page as well. So all the links for those are all below. So don't forget, leave your comments, like the video, and obviously subscribe, and we'll see you again soon on Scratchers PC for more video reviews.